We want to look back, not so much for understanding, but at least for learning in terms of this is not the way things should happen. You know, the only reason slavery occurred is because the law allowed it. It wasn't an individual, it wasn't just a group of people, it was the law that did this. And so when Lincoln put forth the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863, he did so in January 1863, and many think that signaled the end of slavery. It surely did not, because a proclamation did not have a force of law, and it continues not to have a force of law. President Obama issues proclamations all the time. He's issued one on immigration, and of course, just like the Emancipation Proclamation, it could be overturned by the next president, could be overturned by Congress or the Supreme Court. So the Emancipation Proclamation, while it was a very noble effort and did in fact result in many individuals gaining freedom, it did not abolish slavery. That only occurred when the 13th Amendment itself was ratified. You might recall the movie Lincoln. At the end of the movie Lincoln, what happened was the President of the United States at that time, Abraham Lincoln, signed the 13th Amendment, which had been passed by both houses of Congress. All that meant was that it would now be sent to the states for ratification. And you know that to pass a constitutional amendment, you need 3/4 of the states to ratify that amendment. Well, that happened when Georgia did so on December 6, 1865. And you say, well, why didn't it wait until the Secretary of State, William Stewart, signed it on December 18th, or the President put it forth on January 1 of 1866? Because the Supreme Court has said quite emphatically that the ratified amendment becomes effective on the date that that state that makes the 3/4 ratifies it, and that was Georgia on December 6th. By the way, North Carolina did it on December 4th, 1865. So we were next to the last state, and then Georgia did so in December 6th. And this year happens to be the 150th anniversary of the abolition of slavery in America.
Do you think we do enough to teach our kids the history and the struggles and what many slaves accomplished and the things that they did to become free?
Well, you know, history is in the eyes of the beholder in many instances, and we have to be ever so careful that we are objective and open-minded and fair in our teaching of history. We seek to teach history to try to guide people in particular directions or to keep them from thinking certain thoughts. I think that's anti-American in so many ways. We should not close the minds of our children or close the minds of individuals. And I understand maturity allows us to process information differently, but in the long run, open-mindedness and fairness pays off, and to be transparent in conveying the notions of history allows us to move forward in a clearer future.